got a big Friday card coming up, 15-game MLB slate. We have 2 Game 6s in the NBA. We're going to talk about if we're going to see any Game 7s. And coming off another winning day in baseball, had a little 2-2 split, one of the losses half bet. And of course, as always, you guys know, betting with the dogs always treats us well. Pirates in Miami. And John got a good break this week finally with Miami in that one.
Yeah, after losing a couple of unbelievable games, Mullins for 5 in the 9th to get us that W. We'll take that one, avoiding the 4-game sweep. So split out, made a little half bet on the Nationals. That would have been the cherry on top of the dessert. Down 7-3, 5 in the 8th, 8-7, just couldn't hold that lead. They were worth the +2, I think 207 we took. They were worth that take on that game. Didn't look like it earlier. Washington playing good baseball on the road right now, as we said in the preview, hitting left-hand pitchers well. They were there, just not enough to get the W.
I thought when Abrams hit that grand slam and they took the lead, that was the big swing with the Marlins comeback earlier in the day, but couldn't hold it.
Well, we'll take it. Like I said, lose a half bet there, lose a bet with Mariners. That was our toughest loss of the day. Lose 1-0. Counting on that game being, we call it a sandwich game. Phillies were coming off the big come-from-behind victory the night before over the Mariners when we had the Phillies. Their next game being tonight at Houston, World Series revenge. It's what we call, again, like I said, a sandwich spot, coming off a win, looking ahead to the next one. And they only got 1 run. Problem is, Mariners left their bats in Seattle. They blanked, and they'll go on to play Toronto tonight. 2-2, but one was a half bet. All dogs. It's another winning day. Big week so far. Monday was a winner. Tuesday was a disaster. Couple of tough losses, as you guys know. Blow a 7-2 lead and a 6-0 lead. Well, this could be a phenomenal week going into the weekend. And I'll tell everybody right off the bat, right from here, Jump Street, not a bet yet. So if you're a member, if you're not a member, as of right now, we're shooting this. It's 11:40 a.m. Friday morning Eastern. I have not made a bet. The line makers did a phenomenal job today, especially in baseball. NBA, when we get to it, I'm looking at one game. If it goes to a certain number, I'll have a bet. Baseball today, we'll be looking at lineups and line movement before we make a bet. So again, if you come on to, we want you to watch the shows we put on here on YouTube. But I don't always have my bets first thing in the morning. When there's a spot, we jump on them. Did that yesterday. We had 3 bets out before we went on to shoot our podcast. As of right now, we don't have one. So let's get right at it, Ben.
Yeah, really interesting baseball card we have going on today. A couple of playoff revenge matchups. We have a Braves-Mets matchup going on. Obviously, that division race was really tight last year. First game on the card, though, John, great pitching matchup. 2 pitchers, though, who started off the year phenomenal. Last couple starts, a little shaky. You have Stroman, who gave up 5 runs against the Dodgers in 5 innings. They lost that. Prior to that, he had 4 quality starts, just 2 runs in 24 innings. Had a quality start versus the Marlins last year. And then Luzardo, last 2 starts, he's been banged up. 7 runs in 8 2/3. But he had great numbers against the Cubbies last year. And 2 starts, 1 run in 13 2/3. 17 Ks, 2 walks. So did great damage against the Cubs last season. Cubs, good on the road so far this season. 6-2. They're coming off that 3-4 homestand. Obviously still top 3 there as far as batting average on the season. Marlins, weird game. Now, there's a couple ways you can read how they win last night, scoring the 5 runs in the 9th. That could be a little bit of a letdown today. I'm looking at it more of an angle that they were kind of losing the 3 games in there. That's a big builder heading into this weekend series. You come home, you end the trip with a big positive note. So I lean to the Marlins in this game, lean to Luzardo having a little bounce back start here against the Cubs.
Yeah, Cubbies, 2nd in batting, 276 for the season. 3rd in scoring, 5.6 runs per game. They get the job done. Stroman, just that 1 bad outing his last time out. He had his only start on the road was a 6 shutout innings. Granted, it was at Oakland, but he was always better on the road last year. Also, expect another good show from him. Luzardo, as you said, real nice the first few starts, not so much the last 2. Cubs, as we said, tied for 3rd in scoring runs. Marlins, 28th in the league, scoring just 3.3 runs per game. Tough game on the road I make the game right there. No. Would have to be some line movement or some guys missing in this one for me to make a bet on this one.
Next one, John. Pirates at Washington. Pittsburgh just keeps getting it done. 9 of 10. They get 2 of 3 against LA. You have this Nationals team coming off that loss there, but a pretty good trip. They won 4 of 6 on the trip. Just 2 and 9 though at home this season. So weird road away splits there for Washington. They were towards the bottom of the league last year as far as home record as well. Not a very entertaining pitching matchup. You have Cole going here for the Nats, coming off a bit better of a start, but he's been brutal this season. And then you have Rich Hill going for Pittsburgh. He was a guy who was better on the road last season. 2 of his last 3 starts have been quality starts. I see no reason to buck what's going on with the Pirates right now. They're playing some good baseball.
Absolutely not. I feel that the line makers they haven't got the Pirates. They're not giving them the respect that they should have. Ridiculous numbers at home against the Dodgers, and that continues going to Washington, a team that they were better on the road last year, and they're better on the road this year. Mm-hmm. So now it is. Same thing with Oakland. Oakland's a better team on the road than they play at home. With that being said, Cool is just absolutely horrible. Rich Hill has been serviceable, especially his last 2 starts on the road this year. Want nothing to do with the Nationals. Only thing scares me a little bit, Nationals batting .299 versus left-hand pitches, which obviously Hill is. Pirates and nobody would have laid this as a favorite if it was a little bit lower. Pirates and nobody.
Then we get the interesting NL matchup of the day here. Braves and Mets. You have Fried on the bump for Atlanta. He had that injury early, comes back, 11.2 shutout innings and 2 outings since. Then you have Peterson, who was crushed his last 2 starts. Gave up 13 runs off 14 hits and 11 innings. I really want the Mets here in a revenge spot. The price is decent. Just have a really hard time backing Peterson against a Braves team who's been knocking the shit out of the ball. So slight lean to the Mets, but I need more on that price in order to get me to convince to bet Peterson. He's just been too horrible.
Don't want no part of Peterson. It's not so much the Mets, it's just Peterson. Braves batting .305 versus lefties to make matters worse. Peterson been absolutely slaughtered last couple of times out. Free pitching, good baseball since he come off the injured list. Only thing bad that they did was blow that 4-0 lead last night. They have to travel, and they had a rain delay. It was a long day for the Braves yesterday. They get started. It was an early start. They get a little bit of a rain delay, and then they lose that game in the 9th inning, and then got to travel up to New York. So, but outside of that, nothing tells me to bet on the Mets with Peterson on the hill. That line would have to go much higher. Get the not so much revenge angle, but the Mets were in first place, I believe, of 150 some odd games in the season, and they just gave it away, and then to get knocked out in the wild card. So yeah, I know they want to repent for that, but yeah, not backing Peterson in this one, Ben.
D-backs at Colorado, Rockies playing a bit better on the back end of that trip. They had that losing streak. The bats started to come alive a little bit. They took 2 of 3 at Cleveland. Then you have this Arizona team took 2 of 3 against Kansas City, went just 3 and 4 on their homestand. Interesting pitching matchup, Kelly versus Freeland. Freeland was looking dominant his first 3 starts. Last 2, not so much. Gave up 13 runs and 8 2/3, 11 of those earned. And then you have Kelly, who's coming up a start, giving up 4 runs in 5 innings against San Diego. He had 2 quality starts prior to that. So it's kind of becoming a common theme here. You have a lot of these guys who started off great to start the year, getting a few starts under the belt. Miles started to tick up a little bit, and then they're getting banged up a little bit. So in this matchup, if you can get Colorado with their best pitcher on the mound, despite getting cracked lately, it's them or nobody at home, getting them as a home dog with Freeland on the bump against Arizona. They're going to bang up on each other all season long. I think it was D-backs 110 of 19 last year. It's typically what they do. They split usually the season series. Would lean here to the Rockies.
It was actually Rockies winning 10 of 19 and including 5 of 9 in Colorado. I could only be the Rockies here, but again, needed a bigger number, and that's because Kelly actually had 2 good outings, 2 wins with a 1.59 ERA against the Rockies last year, including allowing 2 runs, just 1 earned in 7 innings at Coors Field. Rockies are nobody, but again, like I said, line makers, great job at plus 115, just not an edge there.
St. Louis going on to the Dodgers in LA. They're on the back end of this 2-5 road trip right now. I'm waiting to see when they turn it around because right now they're starting to get pretty good prices. I saw that in the back end of that SF series with Mikolas yesterday. They get the win at 6-0. What are we going to continue to get with them here? Pitching matchup, Flaherty versus May. I'm not much of an edge either way. May's been solid at home this year. Coming off a nice little bounce back start. Flaherty, he had a quality start as well. Slightly into the Cardinals. The question is, are the bats starting to wake up? Are they starting to figure it out? When are they going to flip that switch? When are they going to go on that run? This could be on the front end of that. They go home after this series, so maybe there's something to it. Lean to the Cardinals. Don't love it. Not sold that they flipped it around yet, but maybe in this series of this weekend, we can start to see some value again in St. Louis.
Same scenario. Would like to take the Cardinals here, bet against the Dodgers, but the number's just too low. Taking $1.20 with the way the Cardinals have played so far this year, just there's no edge in that one. Dodgers will get Will Smith back tonight. He's been on the IL for about the last 10 days. Max Muncy still questionable. He's been on paternity leave. He only leads the major league in home run. Look, Dodgers are second in the majors in home runs. Max Muncy leading the league with 11 homers. So he's questionable to return tonight. And it looks like J.D. Martinez will miss again his fourth game. So Smith coming back's a good bat. If they were to get Muncy back, absolutely no reason for me to want to take St. Louis at a short number. Again, it's all about the numbers, guys. So, yeah, no edge there at taking plus 125 or so, 120 with the Cardinals.
We have KC going to Minnesota. This is the second game of the series. They smashed them yesterday. They won all 4 meetings this year. They won 9 of the last 11 in Minnesota. Twins are nobody. Lay the run line if you're going to touch this game. Said the same thing about this matchup yesterday. KC doesn't score enough. You have a pitching edge with Lopez on the bump. They get roughed up his last start. Prior to that, he was dominant. Lyle's last 2 starts, 8 runs, 7 earned, 5 homers in 14 innings. Would lean here definitely to Minnesota with the run line. I don't want any part of KC in this matchup. And Twins, if they're going to take this division, they're going to have to continue beating up on KC. So far, 4 for 4 on the season. None of them really close.
Yeah, KC just can't. Look, this team is terrible. Like, they just can't hit. They've scored 1 run in the last game. They scored 1 run yesterday. Had the misfortune of running into Galen the game before in Arizona, and they got shut out. KC, what do we got here? Last in hitting at 215, 29th in scoring at 3.2 runs per game. They're 2-11 their last 13. Only thing that you could say, Lopez cashed in, signed a $73.5 million contract, and then goes out the next time out and gets beat up a little bit. So it's the only bad thing for Minnesota, but just no reason to get behind KC. Huge number, division game. The Twins have owned this matchup, so just no reason to take them there.
Then we have Orioles Tigers. This is second hottest, or right there with Pittsburgh, hottest teams in baseball right now. They've also winners of 9 and 10, scoring 6 runs per game their last 4. As far as Detroit, they've now lost 6 of 8. They have split their last 4, coming off of that 2 of 3 against the Brewers. You have Rodriguez on the bump for both teams. You have Rodriguez for the Tigers, who was great at Baltimore earlier this week. 1 hit, 7 shutout innings, just no run support. They end up losing that game. And then the other Rodriguez for Baltimore, he gave you 5 shutout innings against the Tigers prior to being tagged in his last 2 starts before that. Pitching edge is clear as day here to the Tigers. Rodriguez slightly into Detroit on this game. Question is, can the O's drop a game? They've been playing red hot like Pittsburgh. And can the Tigers give enough run support, even if you get a quality start from Rodriguez where it means something?
I want to bet the Tigers in the worst way. They owe us. We had had the loser in this matchup earlier this week. Rodriguez had a perfect game going, pitching great baseball. We took a 1-0 lead, only to lose that game 2-1 tough. But those are the games you want to get when you're taking a dog at a big price. Home dog today, you would figure I'm right back with them. Again, they just didn't make the number high enough. It's got to be higher. And why does it got to be higher? Because Detroit's dropped 6 of their last 8, scoring just 2.4 runs per game. They're only scoring 3.1 runs per game, last in Major League Baseball, and 28th in Major League Baseball, hitting just 216. You got to score to win. Tigers Rodriguez, the hard luck, no decision, but we don't get the W because they only put 1 run on the board. Yeah, Orioles winning 9 of their last 10. Just not enough. Got to get a bigger number than that if I'm going to take the clear pitching edge, but just not high enough number.
Seattle going back to Toronto. They took 2 games against them in the wild card last year. They won 7 of 9 meetings overall in the season. So a little bit of playoff revenge here, perhaps, for the Blue Jays. Problem is, you got the ace on the mound for Seattle. You got Castillo going. He's been solid. They've won 4 of his 5 starts. 2 of the last 3 been quality starts. He was dominant against the Jays last year. 2 quality starts, including 7.1 shutout innings in the wild card. And then you have Manoah going for Toronto. He was roughed up in the wild card, 4 runs in 5 2/3. Diz coming off a better start against the Yankees. Apparently, he's been struggling a little bit with the pitch clock. I mean, he's had a little bit of a rough start to the year, especially for his standards. Maybe he's starting to figure it out a little bit more, getting his rhythm with the pitch clock. But this is a game, could only look at Seattle. I see a pitching edge there. I do understand, the argument of a playoff revenge factor for Toronto. Castillo at dog money in a matchup they've won 7 of 9 in. Mariners are nobody.
Yeah, well, that's what all the sharp guys are looking at, because this game opened up at -127 for Toronto last night, and now we're pretty much looking at a pick'em game. If it swings much more, you're going to make Toronto an attractive home dog with Manoah, who maybe figured it out in his last game against the Yankees. Toronto, clearly the better hitting club right now. Mariners blanked last night, yesterday afternoon in Philly. They also have travel. Toronto didn't. Again, this will be one of the games if we see if momentum carries Seattle to a bigger favorite, making Toronto a good enough home dog. I would take the shot with Toronto. Even though Castillo's been great, not as great on the road, same as last year. Look, a lot of pitchers. The Mariners are pitchers ballpark. Also, he loves pitching in Seattle. So he's been great. Don't get me wrong. Not as great, not as dominating on the road. Back Manoah as a home dog if that price continues to go Seattle's direction.
Guardians take a trip to Boston. Bieber, ace on the mound for them. 4 of his 5 starts been quality starts. They've actually lost 4 of his 5 starts, though. Kind of a weird situation there. And they're kind of, borderline quality. Yeah, they're borderline quality starts. Giving up 3 runs each one, maybe four runs, but 3 earned situations. So he's been solid, but not great. Then you have Pivetta going. Last 2 starts, gave up 9 runs off 12 hits, 9 2/3. He's been getting roughed up a bit. Great numbers against the Guardians, 3 runs in 12 2/3 last year. Pitching edge slightly there to Bieber and Pivetta. I mean, flip a coin. What are you going to get? Some days he has ace stuff. Some guys he looks like the bottom guy in the rotation. Boston won 5 of 7 meetings last year, so they split the 4 in Boston. Got to be Red Sox or nobody with the home dog. What are we going to get out of Pivetta? If someone could tell me, let me know, but lean to the Red Sox in this one.
Yeah, that's the whole question. What are you going to get out of Pivetta? As you said, Bieber, been good, but certainly not dominating. 8 Ks, 5 walks his last 2 games. That's not Bieber numbers. Guardians not scoring. Red Sox, they are scoring. They're tied for 3rd, 5.6.2 runs per game. Again, Linemakers did a good job. What should have been a higher number because of the pitching mismatch, Bieber, Pivetta, they came in at the right number. I would love to take the Red Sox. Wouldn't take less than 120 on this game, $1.20 on this game.
Rays at White Sox. Rays crushed them yesterday, 14-5, continuing doing what they do after being shut out twice by Houston. White Sox now lost 8 straight, 2-13 their last 15, hitting 173 this week. Giolito was okay against the Rays earlier this week, 4 runs in 7 innings. Eflin, he's been solid, 5 runs in 16 innings, 16 Ks, 1 walk in his 3 starts so far. It would be Rays or nobody. No reason to bet Chicago right now. It's Tampa Bay. The offense is doing it. Could even slight pitching edge there for the Rays as well. No way am I enticed by the home dog here with the White Sox. Just couldn't put money on them any way or how.
This is the other rematch that we lost early in the week last week. We had Giolito, a 4-3 loser. So we lose 2 tough games. Tigers, we lost 2-1. Lost this game 4-3. White Sox played them actually tough. They lose 3 games. All 3 games they got swept in Tampa Bay, but 2 of the games were 1-run games. 1 of the games going to extra innings. Giolito pitching a little bit better. Not a great outing. Eflin, one of the reasons he was coming off the IL, he came back, pitched a great game. Tampa Bay, you guys know the story. Lead the league in hitting, lead the league in scoring, lead the league in home runs. The offense is incredible right now, just incredible. Yep. No reason to take the home dog. Chicago White Sox are a dead team. You don't want to catch a dead team or buck a hot team. Both these scenarios are true right now.
Then we have Yankees at Rangers. Aaron Judge having a little bit of issues right now. He's going to be expected to miss a few days. DeGrom on the bump there for Texas. So he's been DeGrom-like, 36 Ks, 3 walks across 23 innings, and 3 of those 4 quality starts. The one that wasn't a quality start left early just as a safety precaution because of this wrist soreness. So clear as day pitching edge. Schmidt on the mound here for the Yanks. They've lost 4 of his 5 starts. Big dog price for the Yankees, but not inviting at all. DeGrom's just been too DeGrom-like. You take Judge out of a lineup that's been struggling to hit. Not much enticement there for the Yankees.
No Judge for the Yankees. Schmidt on the mound for the Yankees. DeGrom on the mound for
yeah.
Texas, 4-game losing streak, but are the second highest scoring team in the major leagues. 2 and change is the price. What, and they deserve to be. Not getting behind the Yankees in this spot.
The World Series rematch. Phillies take a trip to Houston. You got Nola on the bump for them. You still have no Alvarez here for the Astros. And then Valdez, Mr. Quality starts. But again, similar to Bieber this year, Valdez quality starts been a little bit questionable. Last 2, 8 runs, 4 earned in 13 innings. K-walk ratio up there, 16 Ks, 2 walks. Valdez was great against the Phillies in the World Series. Nola, not so much. Gave up 8 runs and 8 1/3. This would be a slight lean to the Phillies as a road dog. Really don't love it. Astros look like they found stride. And this is a really tough scheduling by the MLB. I mean, they go to Atlanta, then Tampa Bay. Now they're going to get Philly. Really tough schedule here for Houston. But first 2 series in this tough part, they've taken care of business. The World Series revenge a little factor. Pitching edge Houston. Just a tough game altogether. Slightest of leans to Philly, but I'm staying away from this one.
Valdez, we call him Mr. Consistency, Mr. Quality start. The last couple, not great, but look at the opponents. He's at Atlanta in his last game, so he gives up 3 runs in 7 innings. And then he's Texas, who I just mentioned, second highest scoring team, and they got him pretty good at home. Valdez pitched great against Philly last year. Philly's got Nola on the mound. He is just not what Nola has been. Phillies played yesterday in the afternoon. They do the travel. Again, $1.50 would be thinking about taking Philly, but at this price, line makers did a good job. Line is right there. You know, there's no Alvarez, as Ben mentioned. This game's a toss-up. Like I said, Valdez has got to be get the pitching edge in this one. The way Nola's been going, nothing for me to take in this one again, Ben.
And we have Angels at Brewers. Angels stats a little inflated right now. They're hitting MLB best 290 this week. And they've won 4 of 5, scoring 7.6 runs per game, but against Kansas City and Oakland. So, take that for what you will. Then you have the Brewers coming off a win against the Tigers. That snapped the first 2 games they lost there. They went 4-6 so far on this homestand. Miley versus Anderson. Anderson's just not looking like what he was last year for LA. Don't know if he's going to be able to get back to that. 17 runs, 22 hits, 14 innings. Want no part of it. Miley has reached back, been a bit more solid. Slightly into the Brewers here. A little bit of a home favorite, but not too crazy of a price. Yes, Angels are hitting right now, but against 2 of the worst pitching rotations in the MLB. So I think it might be worth a take here with Milwaukee. Ohtani pitched yesterday. Maybe he gets the day off. We'll have to see.
Yeah, we always want to look for the lineups, obviously. As far as the hitting matchup, like you said, Angels hitting the ball. And they're also hitting 282 versus left-handers. Brewers hitting just 205 against left-handers. We got a pair of southpaws going tonight. So Angels, they get the edge hitting. But this is a pitching mismatch. As you said, Anderson has been a total disaster right now for the While Miley, surprising everybody, he's actually the best pitcher going for the Brewers right now. Miley, some great stats. His last two starts, he's allowed just 2 runs in 12 innings, 11 Ks, 1 walk. You guys that follow me know I love that K walk ratio. It tells me how that guy's pitching. You get 1 home run here with a man on, and there's a couple of runs. That consistency with who you're striking out and who you're putting on base is big. Miley also 2-0, 1.64 ERA at home. Big pitching advantage. Milwaukee. Angels hitting a little better. My lean is actually to Milwaukee in this one. I think this number's come down just low enough, just a little too low at -130. Not low enough for me. If it went a little lower, Milwaukee or no one in this game. Ain't not a great road team.
Nope. And then last game here, John, game of the night. We have the World Series rematch. We have playoff revenges across the board. Then we have Reds going on to Oakland. Sessa versus Moeller. This is an over or nothing game for me. Just you have Reds putting up runs. A's giving up the most runs in MLB history to start the season. Last 3 starts for Sessa, 18 runs, 27 hits, 11 1/3. Last 3 starts for Moeller, 16 runs, 27 hits, and 13 innings. I think we're going to see a lot of runs here in this one. Both teams scoring right now. Give me the over or nothing in that Reds A's game.
And I mean, I'm not a total guy, but this might be my only bet of the day. I might be forced to make a total bet here because both pitches are literally getting crushed.
Yeah.
Besides them getting crushed, Reds are scoring runs. They just swept their 3-game series, scoring 6.3 runs a game against Texas. And Oakland, while as horrible as they are, they went 2-5 on the road trip, scoring 4.9 runs per game. So both teams scoring runs, both teams with pitchers that don't even belong in the major leagues right now.
Yeah.
So again, not a total guy, but that looks like the way to go. Yeah, this is the ugly bowl, Cincy and Oakland. It would be one thing if this was back in the 1970s. These would be your best teams going at it. But here in 2023, look, A's are historically bad. I mean, really bad. We might be sending this out as an over bet the deeper we go into this game, because at 8.5, I don't understand how it's not even higher. This should be the highest total on the game as far as in my opinion.
Yep, agree with you completely there. It's a matchup tested for runs. Then we have a pair of NBA Game 6s, John. So we got 2 good Game 6s. Question, do you think we see a Game 7? Before we dive into the game specifically, do we see a Game 7?
Both favorites. I actually look. Do we see a Game 7? I'm going to say no. Chances are we don't see Game 7. Let's break down each one by itself. Memphis Lakers. Memphis hasn't won a game that they've been a dog on the road all season long. They just can't get it done on the road. We've been talking about it forever. Let's pull up some stats. So now they've played 4 games at LA this year, 2 in the regular season, 2 in the postseason. Lakers have won all 4 of those games. Let me get this out. Memphis did take them to overtime in that last game. So Lakers got to be careful with that. Lakers will have that beatdown they took in Memphis. That'll be fresh in their mind. LeBron coming off his worst game of the postseason after a phenomenal 2020 game in Game 4. My number's a little higher than this. Like I said, you've got just the quick stats. Grizzlies shooting 42.2%, worst in the first round of all the playoff teams. Grizzlies, best record, best during the regular season at home. On the road, 16-27, 14-29 against the spread. Just not getting it done. We talked about this many times. They're 22-21 straight up, 17-26 against the spread since the night that they came into LA on an 11-game winning streak. Get into it with Sharp on the sidelines and go down. They've been a disaster since then. Lakers, in the meantime, best record in the NBA since the All-Star break, 21-9. I'm a little higher on this number. Would need it to be just a little bit lower, but Lakers are nobody for me in this one, Ben.
Yeah, Lakers, LeBron and AD haven't had a good game in the same game in the series yet, and they're still up on the series 3-2. So is this the night we're going to see them put it together? Who knows? But definitely Lakers are no way. I mean, you mentioned all the road struggles there. Also, like the under in this, 3 of the last 4 games in this series have gone under. The only one that didn't was actually the game that went to overtime. So I got an extra 5 minutes there for points. You have this Lakers defense who is, since the All-Star break, the most defensive efficient team in the NBA. They play better on their home floor with that defense. Grizzlies in a must-win spot there in Game 5. They pull it out to make it a 3-2 series. I just have a hard time seeing LeBron and this Lakers team let this one slip and go to a Game 7 at Memphis. Maybe LeBron's getting up there, but he's still giving you good performances. And this is where experience matters. Same thing with Golden State tonight when we get into it. These Game 6s on your home floor to prevent going back on the road. I have a hard time seeing the Lakers drop it.
Next game is Zach's got to go to Golden State now. They let Game 5 slip through their fingers.
Yep.
And we say slip through their fingers, no pun intended. You got who was averaging 31.5 points per game and had only 12 combined turnovers the first 4 games. He shoots only 9 for 25 and has 12 turnovers in Game 5 after fracturing his finger in Game 4. Tough spot, but Sacramento will go to Golden State. While Golden State, Sac has lost. Let me get my stats here. They've lost 8 straight in Golden State, including 2 in the regular season by a combined 8 points, and both in the playoffs here. The last game being a 1-point loss. But they're 5-3 against the spread. So this is where I leave that caveat if our both teams can advance. I like Sac in this one. If the game goes to 8, this is my one NBA bet plus the 8. I need that extra room for Fox's finger. If you go by my ratings, guys, you'll see my ratings have Golden State only 4.8 points better at home than Sacramento was on the road. Golden State was great at home. Best against the spread record in the NBA. But Sacramento had the best road record against the spread in the NBA. So they've gotten it done on the road. This is obviously the must game for them. They cover when they go to Golden State. It's all about Fox. Can he manage the pain and get better in the second game playing with it? If it goes to 8, I think it's worth taking a shot. But I do like Golden State to come away with the W here. I like the Lakers to come away with the W. 8 points, like I said, just would be enough for me to take a shot with Zach.
That Game 5, the Warriors figured out the Sacramento defense. And obviously, there's a lot of attention there to Fox and the finger and the issues there. Draymond Green was picking apart that offense. And I'm not talking about his scoring because he did have the 21 points. The reason why I was getting so many points is because he was facilitating so well so early on, getting everyone involved. I mean, wide open, easy layups for guys like Wiggins and Looney, just time after time again. Sac was working for their buckets. That experience factor is coming in. So the IQ in this series starting to be a factor. You add in Fox with the hand issue, it makes it tough. Only one game in this series has been decided outside of the 8 points. So with that in mind, makes it tough for me to believe. We'll have a hard time seeing, maybe this is a blowout from Golden State, but definitely piecing it together better. And, I saw I forget which capper it was posted. He said something along the lines of you don't think the NBA is going to get one Game 7 or something like that. I don't want to think of it that way. In fact, if I were to even try to think of it that way, the NBA wants LeBron versus Curry in the playoffs. I mean, you want to talk about their moneymaker. That's what they want in the playoffs, LeBron versus Curry. That's a lot more profitable for them than a Game 7. I think in the last 10 years, the most watched games in NBA history all contain Steph Curry or LeBron James. So both of them is what they want there.
So any cap or any human being, for that matter, that the NBA or Vegas wants a Game 7.
Yeah.
Pay no attention to them. Conspiracy theorists, NBA, Vegas. They don't make a call, and every player, coaches, everybody involved dump the game. We know about it. 2 people can't keep a secret. Anyway, I'm not going to go down that. Dre, for as much as I can't stand his antics, played a phenomenal game. I never question his talent. It's just that there's just no room for the other nonsense the trash talk back and forth, I get that. Take your opponent out of his game, but taking it to that physical level. Look, there's again. You want to play me in the park back in my day? Different story. You're playing in the NBA in front of kids. It's a different thing. Clean up your act. Let's keep it classy out there. You want to do your trash talk? All the room in the world for that. Like I said, talk somebody out of their game. But Dre had a monster game. Can Sacramento bounce back, keep this one close? I think with 8 points, it's enough for them to keep it close. We'll see if that number gets there. Great job by the line makers today.
Yeah.
I'll be waiting on a couple of games. We'll be waiting on lineups as we always do. This is the benefit of being a member with our app. You get lineups, you get scratches, lineup scratches in baseball. And we may make a bet just before game time. Did that with the Heat. We let the line go up as high when it hit 13.5. Knew it wasn't going any higher than 13.5. Look, we didn't need the points, but we're always going to take the best number we can. So we didn't send that game out. I think that was a 9:30 game. It was after 9 o'clock when we made that an official bet. I mean, if you watched the show, you pretty much knew we were on it all day. So not a bet yet. Keep that phone near you. If you had to beat the bookie member, I'm sure we're going to have something during the course of the day. Might not. I don't bet just to have a bet.
Right.
I actually had one moron that was a member. I've actually blocked him. I said, well, I paid $239. Good. Who gives a shit? Like, you think I eat off your $239 a month? Don't be a member. You're not going to DM me. You suck. I thought you were good at basketball. You didn't give a basketball bet out in 2 days. When I did, I gave 2 for 2 winners. Heat, Knicks. I don't bet to make you guys happy. I bet to win money. Hopefully, you guys will win money and be happy when I bet. But if we have a little cold streak in baseball or NBA or whatever it might be, does it get to that you can insult me? Don't be a member. I don't need you. I mean, I really don't. Come see us on YouTube. You'll get a wealth of information. When a bet's there, that's when we bet. We bet with an edge. I cannot maintain a 55 to 60% winning percentage if I'm just betting for entertainment. Again, what we do when we have an edge, that's when we make a bet. You'll see the lines move, or you'll know we were on the right side. With that being said, Ben, we'll be pinned to the computers all day. And if we don't get a bet today, hang on, we'll have more tomorrow. Again, I think we had 4 bets yesterday, 6 bets on Wednesday. That's how it goes, guys. It could be 0, could be 6. It depends when the number's right. That's when we strike.
Big weekend ahead, guys. So if you're not a member, go check it out, howtobeatthebookie.com, or download the app. We've got maybe some Game 7s, maybe not on Sunday. Either way, second round starts this weekend. Full slate of baseball going on. Great matchups in baseball this weekend. And we will not be here over the weekend giving you guys these. So for all the information, make sure you guys get the service. And we'll be back again on Monday. John, you got anything else?
That's it, my man. Let's make some money.